Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and it's been a couple days since we got the very large buffs in Hearthstone, 28 of them, including, yes, this guy over here, yvBwABA. We're going to talk about him, but we're going to go over some of the best decks to climb with, whether it's standard or wild, trying to climb to silver, gold, platinum, diamond, or legend. And of course, we still have our giveaway going on for 2 regular pre-orders and 1 mega bundle for the upcoming expansion Cataclysm. To enter that giveaway, like and comment in the video, link down description below, the one with that thumbnail over there. Be subscribed to the channel. Every 1,000 subs we get until the rewards track refresh goes live, I will add another mega bundle, so hit that sub button, make me go Baroque. So yeah, yvBwABA over here, one of the biggest winners from the buffs, and I'll open up the video by saying you can play him. I again do not craft him unless you want to have like fun with him. Some of the decks are the best decks in all of Hearthstone. In particular, I believe Hunter, Death Knight, and Warlock. Those are some of the best decks in all of Constructed, but overall, there's a lot of bad decks, like the Shaman one, the Warrior one with like lackeys, the Priest one's pretty hit and miss. Overall, it's still hovering around like 46% win rate at Diamond through Legend. But if you have the card, it's worth playing. It's fun. I played it on my stream for 2 days. I'm probably done now that I want to try to hit Legend. It would be quite the grind, but it's way more fun. So I will say I recommend playing him. He's cool, but he's not like a top recommendation. If you want to climb, you're going to want to play some of these better decks. Starting off with, of course, Demon Hunter. Still like the best out there, even though, you know, there's new stuff out there to try out. Basically, this Elise build with, you know, spamming Ravenous Fell Hunter, Blob of Tar, drawing with Remnant of Rage. You can win with like your charger with Broxigar and bouncing it, and just overwhelming pressure from like Zilliax Elise locations. It's just gross, right? You're constantly facing blobs and all of that. And yes, there is that new card that some people are freaking out about that can delete your cheap cards, but they're probably not going to get a great opportunity to do that. Or if they do, they've already won the game, right? Like your end game win con of Broxigar doesn't really work well against like Control Warrior and all that, but regardless, the win rate on this deck is insane, and it's certainly a deck you can take to climb. Well, speaking of Control Warrior, it is definitely ramped up in popularity. Win rate wise, it's actually still like, I wouldn't say tier 1, it's like high tier 2, but yes, it got the new edition of Warmaster Blackhorn. I played this deck for 2.5 hours today on ladder. This card was dead in my hand for all but 1 game, where I finally faced a combo rogue and they killed me before I could effectively play this card. So it didn't even matter. But yeah, it takes the 7th spot. There's nothing great in the 7th spot for Elise, so you might as well run it. The majority of the deck is still just gain a lot of armor, stall, board clear. You can win with Murazon in the late game, right? The infinite damage with Time Warp, or just outlast your opponent with armor gain and all that. And yes, this card can blow up, you know, a combo. I guess it just hasn't happened for me. Or against an aggro deck, you could play it and like destroy a bunch of their hand. But at that point, if you can play a 7 mana 6/6 against an aggro deck playing Control Warrior, you've already won the game. So to me, if it wasn't for Elise, I don't think this card would see any play. It is not even statistically great in this deck, and is not really seeing play in any other top tier deck out there. So if you're worried about this disrupting everything for you, yeah, Quest Warrior is really popular right now, but the rest of the deck is a lot better than that one card. But if you want to play that one card, it is certainly worth playing in Quest Warrior. Dragon Warrior, still really good. Nothing really too new about it. None of the buff cards really emerge in here. This card is so dumb. Like, why is there a 4 mana at worst 6/9? A lot of the times it's like buffed up by peddlers and things like that. It's so frustrating, where it's really hard to deal with unless Blob of Tar spam. So there is a silence in there to help with it, but overall it's just a lot of dragons, stats, tempo, and you get a bit of burn with like Grom, which you can like location and deal some damage, or Windspeak Worms. It's a very aggressive deck that wants to go phase, and it sure does that, and not much of this deck is rotating. So wonder if there'll be any balance changes coming to this deck before rotation. I'm gonna guess there is, but we'll talk about that probably on the weekend. Or a Paladin, again, not really a deck with anything buffed in it, but does pretty well, where you have Acceleration Aura, the newest card, which you can tutor with Violet Treasure Guilds. You have like 2 shots at finding that, and then ramping up into like Manifest Timeways to clear the board, or release the Crusader, and then your late game is pretty stacked where you want to get to Gelbin, cast those auras, and just overwhelm your opponent. Is really solid, does quite well. And you got like Dorian in here where you could swing with like Ursal Maul and get another Ziliax, get another Gelbin, get another Anachronos, right? Like you can do some pretty gross stuff. So yeah, Aura Paladin still good. Double Unholy and Blood DK. Trust me, we're gonna get to some cards that some decks that do have some buff stuff. There is some new stuff. This deck's still really good though, one of the best out there, with the Shadows of Yesterday, gaining all those corpses, cheating out Stitch Giants. You can cheat out Fire Rack with your Narrowlax, and of course Elise, Blob, you know the deal. Pretty solid deck, and I love Death Knight, so I'm always going to promote the good Death Knight decks. The Double Blood version doesn't do quite as well anymore, but if you still want to play, you know, Double Blood, it is certainly worth it. Okay, we're finally gonna get to a deck that is pretty new. Demon Warlock is actually popping off a little bit with the new recently buffed Abduction Ray. This card is pretty nuts. At 1 mana, especially you couple up with Foreboding Flame, you can cheat out a lot of cheap demons. You can tutor those shadow spells with Sketch Artist, maybe even getting more of them. You have Razadier, since we got all those demons and beasts going, that can, it's a 4 mana 7/7, discard an opponent's card. That's pretty good. And we even have like Archimond and Kil'jaeden for ultimate demon value. I think Kil'jaeden's almost entirely in there just to activate Elise. There's just not a lot of great 7 mana cards. And overall, yeah, I think I saw Cantaloupe take this to Legend on America's, and the stats are pretty good. So if you want to try out some Shred Demon Starcraft Warlock with Elise, this deck's doing pretty well. It is certainly Legend capable, and it's got some spice in it, like Archimon, right? 6 mana Archimon and all of that. That's pretty cool. Discover Hunter's actually fallen off quite a bit because everybody's playing Quest Warrior with the new destroy the cards thing, right? Like it's just something people want to do, even if it's not like the best out there. And this deck suffers a lot, right? A lot of these cards that are used to combo and kill your opponent get blown up, and Warrior can gain all that armor and clear. So it's not a great, it's dropped in the meta right now, but it's still a good deck. Discover Hunter, get Niall, draw cards, cheat out alien encounters. You have endgame win condition of like Insidious or Grift Amulet and all of that. But overall, if you're looking for a Hunter deck, it's probably the best out there. But in the meta currently that I've been facing, certainly isn't something I would highly recommend, hence why it's a little bit lower. yvBwABA had to change a little bit, right? Eudora got buffed to 4 mana. You still want a player, but you need a 5, and there's not really a good 5. So the list I've seen with the highest win rate, run Steam Cleaner, because it's good against Quest Warrior, which is popular, but overall, it's there to activate your Elise. And yeah, 4 mana Eudora, even sweeter. This deck's just so fun. It's not high win rate, it's not the best out there, but getting those imbues, getting those random minions, and then of course Deja Vu, Nightmare Fuel. And if you want to enjoy Shadow Step for a little bit more before it rotates, this is certainly a deck you can take and have some fun with. And again, I like this one. I have played a lot of Imbue Rogue in both ladder and the arena, and Maestro Rogue has emerged as a playable deck, not super top tier, but positive win rate with, yes, 2 mana Maestro. You get that hero card from another class. You can play that pretty reliably. You can even cheat it out with like Seashill and all that. And the idea is you turn your hero into another class. You have Tess, which Web of Deception or Shadow Step can return to your hand. She'll cast it, bounce herself, and then you just kind of loop over and over Chrono Daggers and Snatch and Grab, clear the board, push damage over and over, and kill your opponent that way. So this has actually been trending and doing pretty well. This was the one deck I finally got to play or got Blackhorn against, and I died because they played Tess on curve, and I just couldn't deal with it. Like, it wasn't fast enough against this deck of all things. So yeah, if you're looking to use your Maestro before she rotates, this deck is capable of climbing. So it is something you can give a go. And we still have more decks here. Hagatha Shaman, It's good. Still the same old thing, right? Nothing really new. None of the buff cards are in here. We've talked about it a bunch, but yeah, you want to play Agatha Shaman. It's still pretty good, but again, almost all this deck rotates. This will not exist in like a month or so, right? In a month and a week, right? March 17th, this deck will cease to exist. So get in there while you can, but it's definitely not nearly as high up in its power level as it used to be. And copy Druid, good Druid deck to play. Get those locations going, whether it's Elise, Amir Drasul, the Zinajari, copy it with like Scrapbooking Student. You can kill your opponent with like Alonius or Stargrazer, all of that. None of the buffs really affected this deck. It's still good. Probably the best Druid deck out there. It's competitive, but definitely, again, not as high on my list. And Mage, Priest, I'm just not going to bother recommending. We'll see what's happening after rotation. But yeah, the Draenei buffs and the other stuff for Priest, I haven't seen it move the needle whatsoever. So we're kind of in expansion waiting room for those classes, unless we get, we have that big balance patch gonna come before the expansion comes out. So maybe that'll help. I don't know. And for Wild, again, we'll go really quickly because Wild not affected by the buffs and Warlock is dominant. Egg Warlock, just get the egg, break it with Umbra on the board. You fill your board, get 20/20s, and then kill your opponent. It's absurd. It needs to get changed at some point. It's not healthy for the format. And discard Warlock also really up there with the new Chrono Clause. Just all this burn most decks can't deal with because you expire at Merchant, get more barrages, and just do a bunch of damage. Your opponent's dead before they can even get going. Good luck playing the 7-mana 6/6 against that, right? And this Monty Priest can OTK you on like turns 4 and 5 with this Monty copying it up and then getting the infinite light speed with Stone Tusk Boar combo. Really gross. So those are like the 3 decks that just make the format basically unplayable. And then Champions Druid is kind of there to try and OTK faster than everything else, where you Barnes out either you sell or Eonar and then just OTK. Cheat a billion mana. Champions could give you like Velen or Antonitis for like 1 mana fireballs. It's a pretty gross deck, but with all the ramp, there's a million ramp cards. You can get it to it pretty consistently. And just if you want to play aggro, Pirate DH is probably the best way to go. It's either that or Pirate Rogue. Just smork, try and kill these decks faster than they can do their scam. It's hard. You gotta do it by like turns 4 and 5, but this deck can do that, plus mana burn can be a real help, and also just 1 silence for like an egg can do some work. So there you go. That is almost certainly going to be our last deck recommendation video until the early access brawl. We'll do early access brawl recommendations when that comes around. But yeah, hopefully some of the buff stuff here you can give a go, and some of the lists that are refined can get you to that finish line when, yes, in March we'll get that next expansion. And tune in later today. There is, believe, the not Hunter Colossal. We already saw that. There is the Druid Colossal revealed. We will review that card. So stay tuned later today. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.